Once upon a time, in a city in the heart of Africa, lived a young woman named Olama. Olama was a tall, slim girl who had big eyes and a sharp tongue. She lives in a modest apartment which was tastefully furnished on the outskirts of the city. Ola works as a secretary at a bank, and although she was living well, she longed for more. All her life, Olama had yearned for the attention of different men, but it was nothing compared to what she felt for one particular man since she watched him on TV one fateful day. One might say she even fancies herself madly in love with him. He was Senator Caleb Martin. Martin was among the powerful individuals who ruled the city, a big tycoon. He was the cream de la cream. She was so obsessed with him that her waking hours were consumed with thoughts about him. She daydreamed constantly. Oh, how good it would feel to be addressed as his madame, to have his fleet of cars at her disposal, to have him hold, touch, and kiss her passionately. How sweet that would feel. The fact that Martin was happily married with two children didn't deter her fantasies. One day, Olama was in her bed thinking about Senator Martin. Suddenly, she remembered she had a friend named Cora, whose father was a native medicine man. In those days, Cora got whatever she wanted or set her heart upon. She decided to visit Cora to see if Cora's father could help her fulfill her main desire to make Senator Martin hers. The next day, Ola set out determination in her every step. When she got to Cora's home and they had exchanged pleasantries, she told Cora why she had visited. Cora told her, that is a small thing. My father can do more than that. I'll take you to my father. When they got there, the man asked Ola, what do you want me to do for you? Ola replied, I want Senator Caleb Martins to be mine, both his body and soul. The native man laughed wickedly. That is a small tax, but there are prices you must pay. Are you ready to pay? Yes, wise one, Olama said, determination in her eyes. The native man laughed again. Three things you must do. First, you must dance around this particular village in the dead of night naked. Nobody, I mean nobody, is to see you. Second, you must find a madman and have intercourse with him 7 times. Third, you must not eat for 7 days. Can you do that? Olama fell on her knees. All you say, I shall do, wise one. She rushed out of the native man's shrine. Within the next 2 weeks, Ola fulfilled all the requirements. The most difficult of them was finding a madman to sleep with. She had to capture one, woo him with gifts before doing the deed. Proud of all her accomplishments, she returned to the medicine man, who, after lots of chanting, told her to drop a huge sum of money inside the calabash, which she did. The man danced around the shrine up and down, then went inside and came out holding a very colorful and beautiful waist bead. He gave it to Ola and told her, as long as this bead remains on your waist, no man born of a woman on this earth can refuse you when you set your heart upon him. But be warned, he cautioned. The day this bead leaves your waist, the repercussions will be great. Laughing wickedly, he entered into his shrine. Ola took the bead, excitement in her eyes. The native man also gave her a lipstick and told her, take this also, they work together. All you have to do is kiss the person and see what happens next. I call it the kiss of no return, he said. Thank you so much, wise one. You have no idea what you have done for me, Ola said. She hurriedly left the shrine, and after thanking her friend Cora, she returned to the city. Now, the next step is to meet the senator. But how does she come in contact with Caleb Martin? The man was a senator and is not open to the public easily, she reasoned. She has to find a way. After gathering much information, she got to find out that the senator's wife was banking with them, but at another branch. So she decided to use the wife to get to the husband. Olama walked herself to the branch the senator wife was using and befriended her. Maybe Senator Caleb Martin's wife was a very beautiful woman with a curvy build. She was very friendly, liked laughing a lot, rarely saw wrong in anyone, and was very, very accommodating. That was part of the reason Caleb Martin, her husband, loved her very much. Anytime she visited the bank, Ola went out of her way to attend to Maybe. Even before he got to her turn, she praised Maybe and acted very, very loyal. She told Maybe, ever since I lost my younger sister, I have never seen anyone who resembles her. You are the first person, Ma, that I have seen. That is why I respect you so much. I would really, really love to be like a little sister to you. Maybe, being who she is, was flattered and felt special. She accommodated Olama, and very soon Ola and Maybe became close friends, always seen together. But amidst this, Maybe has never taken Ola home. Ola has tried to invite herself countless times, but Maybe would tell her, my husband loves me very much, but he is very strict regarding friends. That is why I didn't keep any friend prior to you. He doesn't want me to have friends apart from family members. I haven't told him, and I have a very good friend that feels like a family. She smiles softly. But don't worry, she continues. The housewarming party of our new home is coming up soonest. I will invite you. He will not even notice, she said. Finally, her big chance has arrived. Ola smirked inside her heart and watched as Maybe excitedly chatted on about how she can't wait for Ola to see the mansion that her husband built for them and how they were going to enjoy it. Not if she can help it, Ola reasoned. Not if she can help it. The big day arrived. Ola dressed carefully in her home. She wore a long flowing red gown and put on her special lipstick, which was red. Today, she whispered, I'll get what I have always wanted. I feel his big hands on my skin. I'll kiss his lip hotly. She smiled. Oh, 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 maybe. She chuckled wickedly. If only you know the plans I have for you. Minutes later, Maybe came to pick her up. Seeing her dressing, Maybe couldn't understand why she was dressed so seductively and jokingly said, Haha, all dressed up like this for a housewarming party. Hope her husbands are safe, oh, Ola. Ola laughed innocently and replied in a small voice, "Don't worry, they are safe though." They entered into Mibe's vehicle and drive to Mibe's house. Reaching the mansion, it was a sight to behold. After Olama had finished filling her eyes, they went inside where Senator Caleb Martin's young children greeted their mother with a hug. Mabel introduced them. "Hola, this is my children, Junior and Mirabel, my two wonderful children." "Good morning, ma," both of them greeted uniformly. "Are they twins?" Ola asked. "No," Mabel replied, laughing softly. "I gave birth to them months apart, and they just like being silly and greeting like that." "Oh, I see," Ola replied. As they were talking, the man of the hour walked in. Senator Caleb Martin, the star of Olama's every fantasy. He was tall, over 6 feet, with neatly low-cut dark hair, light skin, and was very, very handsome. He reached where they were, kissed his wife on the head softly, and then spoke to her. "I have missed you. Where did you go?" To pick up my business associate," she replied promptly. As she made an introduction, "Hola, this is my baby, my husband, Senator Caleb Martin. Baby, this is Olama, my business associate, right?" she asked Ola, who was still looking at Martin like a hungry dog. "Yes, yes," Ola replied very quickly. She stretched her hand for a handshake, and Martin shook her hand and released it promptly. "Baby," Martin began as he turned swiftly to his wife. "I need something. Please, can you follow me?" "Sure," Mibe replied. Olama watched them as they left, jealousy and hatred stirring in her heart for Mibe. How can one woman be so greedy and decide to keep such a gallant, fine man to herself alone? All in the name of marriage, she reasoned in her heart. Anyway, we shall see. All she needs now is an opportunity, and he will be ours. The golden opportunity came as they were cutting the cake. Mabel could not see her husband, so she told Olama to take a piece of the cake to meet the husband, who probably will be at the back of their house where he would be talking with his own fellow senators. Mabel handed the cake to Olama, and she saw it for what it was, an opportunity. She took the cake, and when she got to the back, Senator Caleb Martins was on the phone speaking with his back to her. Putting the cake on the table, Ola waited patiently, and as the senator dropped his phone, surprised to see her after turning, without any warning, Ola grabbed him and kissed him on his lips. Shocked, he struggled to set himself free, but Ola held on to his waist firmly. He pushed her out of anger as she crashed on the table holding the cake. She burst into tears on the ground as people, including Mabel, his wife, rushed in. Martin suddenly did not understand why his wife's business associate was grabbing him or kissing him. Wanting to say something, he could not remember anymore what has transpired or why the girl, Ola, was crying. Only one thing was clear to him at that instant, that the woman who was crying now on the floor, Ola, now hid his total affection and love. As Olama's medicine began to ensnare Caleb, his life began to change. He started neglecting his wife Mabel and their children, spending less time at home and more in the lavish setting Olama preferred. The love that once filled his home turned into a toxic environment of neglect and abuse. Caleb, once a gentle and loving husband and father, became irritated and violent. Mabel and their children bore the burdens of his frustration. Their lives shadowed by fear and uncertainty. He began to distance himself from Mabel. His once tender gestures replaced by cold indifference. Arguments became a daily occurrence, his temper rising at the slightest provocation. Mabel, tired and heartbroken, tried to reach out to her husband, but her attempts were met with hostility. The man she had married seemed to have vanished, replaced by a stranger who brought chaos into their home. Mabel decided to confide in Olama, who unknowingly to her was the cause of it all. Upon reaching her home, she saw Olama with her husband kissing passionately on their front porch. Shocked, she cried out, Olama, what is going on here? Listen, Olama fired back. What did you see with your eyes that is going on over here? I am with my love. Abi no be so? She asked Caleb. Caleb replied, yes, oh love, as he kissed her again. So, you are the cause of all my problems. But why, Ola? Why? Well, if you must know, Olama replied, it's nothing personal. I love Martins very much, and I just have to have him. Mabel turned quietly and went home. She decided to confront Olama again at another time. She had heard whisper that Ola was using charm as their relationship progressed into months, but she was determined to fight for her husband. She gathered her courage and went to Olama's home, hoping to appeal to her compassion. When Mabel arrived, Olama greeted her with a cold smile. The difference between the two women were plain. Mabel, weary, appearance marked by sleepless nights and tear-stained cheeks, contrasted sharply with Olama's now elegance and glow after eating the senator's money for months. They were now worlds apart, yet bound together by the man who was the cause of both their desire and despair. Please, Mabel began, her voice trembling. I beg you to release my husband. Our family is falling apart. My children need their father, and I need my husband. I don't know what you've done to him, but I'm asking you as a fellow woman to let him go, if not for anything, but for the friendship we once shared. Which friendship? Olama fired back, her expression uncaring, her eyes cold and unyielding. Your pleas mean nothing to me, Mabel. I was never your friend. In case you didn't know, I just used you to get to your husband, she replied, her voice like ice. Caleb is with me because he wants to be with me. As long as the sun shines in the sky, you will never get your husband back. Mabel had sank at Olama's word, the finality of her declaration piercing her like a knife. She left Olama's home in tears, her spirit crushed. She knew she could not rely on Olama's mercy anymore, and she vowed to fight for her husband, but another day. With nowhere else to turn, Mabel sat solace in prayer. Every morning before dawn, she knelt beside her bed, her hands hid together, her whisper filling the stillness of the house. She prayed for strength, for patience, and for the return of the man she loved dearly. Her faith was her anchor, the one thing that kept her from falling apart completely. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Despite an unceasing prayer, Caleb's behavior continued to deteriorate. He became more aggressive, his anger manifesting in violent outbursts. Mabel bore the brunt of his fury, enduring physical and emotional abuse with a resilience that came from deep within her soul. Her children, once carefree and full of laughter, now moved about the house like ghosts, their eyes wide with fear. Mabel's auntie, called Amaka, noticed the changes in her and reached out. Amaka was a woman of deep faith and wisdom, and she had been Mabel's confidant for many years. One afternoon, Amaka visited Mabel, bringing with her a comforting presence and listening ear. Mabel, my dear, Amaka said gently as they sat together in the kitchen. I see the pain in your eyes. You've been strong for so long, but you mustn't bear this burden alone. Tell me what troubles you. Mabel hesitated, her eyes welling with tears. It's Caleb, she finally whispered. He's not the man he used to be. He has become someone I don't recognize, and our children are suffering. I've tried everything, Amaka. I've prayed and prayed, but nothing seemed to change. Amaka took Mabel's hands in hers, her grip firm and reassuring. Prayer is powerful, Mabel, but sometimes it takes time for our prayers to be answered. You must hold on to your faith and continue to seek God's guidance. A year has passed since Mabel's first visit to Olama, and her situation had only grown more difficult. On one particular evening, the wind blowing aside, Mabel was very angry and decided that she could not endure the suffering anymore. She gathered her courage and made her way to Olama's home, the rain soaking her clothes and the cold seeping into her bones. She arrived at Olama's door, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and determination. Knocking, Olama opened the door, her expression one of surprise and annoyance. What are you doing here again? She demanded. Mabel's voice trembled with emotion as she replied, I've come to ask you one last time to release my husband. Our family is being destroyed and I can't bear it any longer. Olama's eyes narrowed and she stepped aside, allowing Mabel to enter into her house. The room was dimly lit, the flickering candlelight casting long shadows on the wall. Olama's cold attitude contrasted sharply with the warmth of the room, her presence dominating the space. The exchange was heated, the air thick with tension. Mabel's desperation fueled her words, and Olama's disdainful replies only fanned the flames. In a fit of anger and desperation, Mabel lunged forward, grabbing Olama's waist with all her might. She wanted to cause as much damage as possible to make Olama feel a fraction of the pain she was inflicting on her family. In a struggle, the magical waist bead snapped and fell to the ground. The moment the bead hit the floor, Olama let out a piercing scream. She burst into tears, a torrent of emotion overwhelming her. Running into her home, she quickly dressed and with a sense of urgency pushed Mabel out of the way. Mabel, stuck with fear and confusion, watched as Olama sped out of the compound. Mabel returned home, trembling with fear at the thought of Olama's retribution. She expected Caleb's wrath to follow, but instead something unexpected happened. The very next day, Caleb's behavior began to change. He seemed disoriented, as if waking up from a long nightmare. The cruelty that has consumed him faded, replaced by a deep remorse. Slowly, he started to reconnect with his family. His apologies were sincere, his efforts to make amends genuine. The road to healing was long and painful, but Mabel and their children saw a glimpse of the man they once knew. One evening, Caleb sat with Mabel in their living room, the children playing quietly nearby. I don't know what happened to me, he said, his voice choked with emotion. It's like I was under a spell. I'm so sorry for everything I've put you through. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I want to make things right. Mabel's eyes filled with tears as she took his hands. We have been through so much, Caleb, but you've been here, and that's what matters. You are here now. We'll take it one day at a time. Caleb nodded, his heart heavy with guilt and gratitude. He vowed to rebuild the trust he had shattered to be a husband and father his family deserved. The process was slow, filled with moments of doubt and pain, but there was also hope. As for Olama, she became a shadow of her former self. The loss of the bead stripped her of her power and left her vulnerable. She realized the true cost of her action, not just to Caleb but his family, but to herself. Caleb's family, though scarred, began to heal. Mabel's prayer, once seeming to fall on deaf ear, has been answered in a way she could never have anticipated. Olama, faced with the reality of her action, sought Mabel's forgiveness. Mabel, I don't expect you to forgive me, but I need to apologize. I was wrong, and I'm truly sorry for the pain I caused you and your family. Mabel looked at Olama, her heart filled with a mix of emotions. She saw the sincerity in Olama's eyes and nodded slowly. Thank you for your apology. It will take time, but I hope we can all find the healing we want. The story of Olama and Caleb was a testament to the power of love, faith, and resilience. Olama's downfall was a lesson in the danger of unchecked desire and the consequence of wanting what belongs to others without compassion. For Mabel and her family, their journey was a reminder that even in the darkest time, hope could light the way. As the sun set over the city, the shadow of the past lingered, but they were now tempered by the promise of a brighter future. The end.